Okay. I am calling to order the regular board meeting of the West Basin Municipal Water District Board of Directors. And with that, Mr. General Manager, we have a forum.
Happy to do so. Director Scott Houston.
Here.
Director Don Deere.
Here.
Director Gloria Gray.
Here.
President Desi Alvarez.
Here.
We have a forum.
And our next item up is Pledge of Allegiance. I'm going to ask Agustin to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Alvarez, if you all please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, and we have presentations and there are two proclamations today. We are going to recognize Black History Month. And we have a proclamation for Black History Month, which is February of this year, February being month where we celebrate Black history. I'm going to read the presentation, and then there will be a second presentation, and after that, we'll get together for whatever.
President Alvarez, if I could just add, when we conclude the presentations, I'd like to go back. We actually skipped public comment, but we can do that after the
Oh,
presentation.
I appreciate you pointing that out, and I'm sorry that I forgot about the public comment. Let's just go ahead and take care of public comment.
Okay. We have not actually received any requests for public comment, though this meeting is being held both in person and virtually. If there's any member of the public that would like to speak under public comment, please indicate so now by raising your hand here in the room or raising your virtual hand online. President Alvarez, I do not see your requests.
Okay, so we'll move back to the presentation. So first, is Black History Month. Whereas Black History Month commemorates the achievements, contributions, and sacrifices of Black Americans and their indelible role in shaping United States history and culture. And whereas Black History Month preserves the memory of noted historian Carter G. Woodson, who, along with the now named Association for the Study of African American Life and History, founded the first Negro History Week in February 1926 to coincide with the birthdays of President Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass, as well as concurrent emancipation celebration. And whereas Black History Month acknowledges the influence of the civil rights movement and the growing awareness of Black identity in the 1960s that resulted in President Gerald Ford officially designating February as Black History Month in 1976 and urging Americans to seize the opportunity to honor the too often neglected accomplishments of Black Americans in every area of endeavor throughout our history. And whereas Black History Month celebrates this year's theme of African Americans and labor, reflecting on the various and profound ways that work intersects with the collective experiences of Black people and highlights the pivotal role that work played in shaping American history, which includes agricultural labor, self-help strategies and entrepreneurship, and organized labor. And whereas Black History Month promotes the importance of Black history in the continued pursuit of racial justice and equality, thereby encouraging organizations like West Basin to advance policies and initiatives that create opportunities for all people and our communities to thrive. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed on this 27th day of January 2025 that we, the directors of the West Basin Municipal Water District, hereby observe Black History Month as an annual celebration and acknowledgement of Black American history to the fabric of American culture and West Basin's continued commitment to addressing disparities within its service area. Right. And we have a second proclamation And this is for 2025 National Engineers Week. Whereas National Engineers Week was founded by the National Society of Professional Engineers in 1951. And whereas National Engineers Week is celebrated each year in conjunction with President George Washington's birthday, as he is generally considered to be the nation's first engineer. And whereas National Engineers Week is dedicated to ensuring a well-documented, diverse future engineering workforce by increasing understanding and interest in science, engineering, and technology careers. And whereas National Engineers Week is observed by a coalition of more than 70 engineering, education, and cultural societies and more than 50 corporations and governmental agencies. And whereas National Engineers Week focuses on this year's theme of Design Your Future, a call to action for creativity, innovation, and forward thinking in the field of engineering, and a celebration of the limitless possibilities in collaboratively crafting the world remarkable. And whereas National Engineers Week is recognized by West Basin Municipal Water District to spotlight the engineers of various specialties employed by the district and fulfilling critical jobs to ensure a reliable, economical, and accountable operation of the district to meet its mission. Now therefore be it proclaimed on this, the 16th and 22nd days of February 2025, that we, the Board of Directors of West Basin Municipal Water District, hereby join those organizations in celebrating and acknowledging the contributions to quality of life engineers provide and the promotion of their importance that technical careers and education have on the nation's future during National Engineers Week. With that, if any of my board members would like to make any comments regarding Black History Month or National Engineers Week, this would be the time to do so. Director Houston.
Okay, thank you, Mr. President. I will just say a couple of brief words. Number one, I'm glad that we're recognizing both of these in advance of February. And of course, with the Black History Month, we certainly know how far we have come over centuries in this country when it comes to African Americans within our society and within our, who are on our soil. Yeah, at the same time, we also know how much further we got to go. And I'm sure everybody is well aware, I think in the midst of current political climate, there will probably be a lot more to do. So I'm glad that we are supportive of our African American community, as well as those within our service area and our employees. And then secondly, National Engineers Week. We know that that's extremely important at this time. And I think that with the wildfires, with, the landslides, with all the challenges that we've had, even in the last, say year or two within our local region, engineers have proven that they are critical to our local economy and infrastructure and to our nation. So I'm glad that we recognize them, and we should do what we are doing to encourage folks to look at those endeavors and just support engineers across the board that keep this country strong. So thank you, Mr. President, and thanks to everyone who put these proclamations together.
Director Gill.
Who would we have to drive the trains if we didn't have the engineers, right?
What's that?
Who would we have to drive the trains if we didn't have our engineers? I'm gonna save other comments because we have a long agenda today.
Director Gray, do you have any comments?
Yes, thank you. Briefly, I want to thank staff and the board for recognizing those two very important issues, if you will. Certainly Black History Month. We always need to be reminded of our history because there is a lot more to accomplish based on what that means. And certainly we do have to acknowledge our engineers because they're very much a part of what we do. So thank you.
Thank you, Director Gray. And I will just briefly add that I'm very pleased that we are recognizing Black History Month and all of the contributions made by the African American community this country and the continued contributions that will be made in the future. And also recognizing National Engineers Week and the efforts of all of our staff and many of the others that we employ in the engineering professions for the efforts that they put forward in keeping our mission moving forward. With that, what do you want us to do?
I love a photo.
Okay, are there any items that need to be added to the agenda?
Staff has no items that are too late to be agendized.
Okay. So then we have our consent calendar. And does anybody want to discuss any of the items on the consent calendar? Do I have a motion for the consent calendar?
Approval of the consent calendar in its entirety.
Second,
Okay, so we have a vote on the consent calendar.
Director Scott Houston,
yes.
Director Don Deere,
Yes.
Director Gloria Gray,
Yes,
President Desi Alvarez.
Yes, with the exceptions of items 4 and 5. Then I was registering those items.
On 4 and 5, are you voting no or you're not voting at all?
I'm voting no, so I would register a vote of no on those items.
Noted.
So we will then move on to the action calendar. And we have 3 items on the action calendar, and I'm gonna take item number 3 out of sequence as item number 1. Agency authorization to direct assessment disaster relief. Mr. General Manager, would you like to introduce that item?
Yes, thank you very much, President Alvarez. This was noted actually at our last full board meeting or special board meeting, where I had noted that West Basin had been contacted by the LA County Department of Auditor Controller. And it was requested that we consider allowing disaster relief for homes that were impacted by the Franklin fire. West Basin staff did coordinate with our board president and did bring that item. It was less than $3,000, and for our legal counsel, the general manager did authorize that and send that in. Since that time, we've actually received 2 additional items. The first was in related to the homes impacted by the Portuguese Bend landslide. And there are 421 parcels in the West Basin service area that were impacted. And this is a total of $8,673. This does not actually have a board report because we received it late last week. I apologize, I should have mentioned that. We brought this immediately as soon as we received the request. The second was seeking disaster relief for the homes impacted by the current Palisades fire. In the West Basin service area, there are 881 parcels that have been identified with a total of $15,493.25. Upon receiving these, I contacted our board president, Director Desi Alvarez, to request some direction. It was discussed that we would bring this back to the full board today, though I wanted to note that with his approval, we did sign this and submit it to the county last week, I believe on Thursday. So with that, I would ask that the board consider ratifying that decision, again, made with direction from legal counsel as well as our board president. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
I'll move that we ratify the action that was taken.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
And I will second that.
Do we have any discussion?
I do have just a question. Could you repeat the amounts, EJ, for the two incident?
So for the Palisades fire, it's been noted that there are 881 parcels within the West Basin service area that would be given relief. And this would total $15,493.25. Secondly, we have 421 parcels in the Portuguese Bend landslide area. And this totals $8,673.94.
Thank you.
Just one follow-up question. Of the 881 parcels affected by the Palisades fire, those are all basically Malibu, right?
Malibu and Topanga.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, so can we have a vote, please?
Director Scott Houston.
Yes.
Director Don Deere.
Yes.
Director Gloria Gray.
Yes.
And President Desi Alvarez.
Yes. Okay, so moving on, our next item is consideration of approving list of nominees for the 2024 Legislative of the Year Award. Mr. General Manager, could we have an introduction to that item, please?
Yes, President Alvarez, this item was discussed during the January Water Policy and Legislative Committee under our state and federal legislative updates. For this presentation, we do have Matt Bay, our Manager of Water Policy and Resources Development.
Thank you, EJ. Good afternoon, directors. I'm on packet page 74. Just a quick intro before I turn it over to the board of directors for further discussion. Each year, West Basin Board of Directors recognizes the efforts of its state and federal representatives to engage, introduce, and support water policies that benefit our organization and our service area. And we do this through our Legislative of the Year Award. Earlier this month, at the Water Policy and Legislation Committee, staff presented 5 options for the committee to consider. If you look at attachment B, which starts on page 78, you can see all the options that are before you. At the committee members did recommend adding 2 additional options to the list. So we are now at 7 total options for your consideration. Just to go through those really quickly, the original 5 that staff brought to the committee were Governor Gavin Newsom, Senator Ben Allen, Assembly Speaker Robert Beavis, and both of our senators, Senator Alex Padilla and now Senator Adam Schiff. The 2 additional options that the committee recommended that are on here, you'll see is Assembly Member Rick Chavez-Burr and Representative Jared Huff. With our upcoming advocacy trips to Sacramento and Washington, D.C., once the board of directors deliberates and votes on a final list of options for the nominees, our staff will order those awards and have them available for this year's trips. So with that said, please let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, I would like to turn it over to the board to finalize the nominees.
Thank you. Any discussion with it? Director
Mr.
Gray?
Chair, I have a question.
Yes,
I didn't hear Senator Steve Bradford. I know he's terming out, and I think he's been supportive of our mission, and he is in our district. I didn't hear a mention of him.
Yes, Director Gray, he has turned out, so he's not currently in office at this time. So I think what staff would like to do is to talk with you and the other directors to see if there's some other way to recognize him, but we wouldn't be able to, for instance, take an award to him in Sacramento this year because he's no longer sitting in office.
Yeah, that's correct. Thank you. That does make me realize he's not there, but I would like to discuss with the board some kind of recognition. Thank you.
if it's okay with you, Director Gray, maybe we can decide on the Legislator of the Year award and then conclude by having a discussion regarding Mr. Bradford and recognition for his past service in the state legislature.
That would be great. That sounds great. Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay, so any comments or suggestions as to who should be Legislator of the Year awardee at the state level?
Mr. Chair, actually, I'd like to make a motion. I would like to move that we approve this list that the staff has put together as our 2024 Legislature of the Year nominees.
Who?
The list that they just went over. I would move that for approval.
Page of the list on.
Question?
78.
Question. So your motion would recommend that the award for, we recognize all of these individuals as Legislator of the Year.
Yeah.
I have a comment. That's why I think in the past we have had multiple Legislator of the Year, and I've always kind of scratched my head about that. I think one of the things is that as a recipient, it's always nice to know that you are the recipient of the Legislator of the Year award and that there are not multiple recipients. But that's just my comment. So I don't know if your motion's going to get a second. If it is, then we can have further discussion.
What motion needs a second?
Director Houston motion is that we move to award Legislator of the Year presentations or awards to all of the names on the list. So that would be 4 at the state level and 3 at the federal level.
Second.
2 senators as well as Representative Huff.
I'll second his motion.
And I'll make a comment. That's okay.
Okay,
You are accurate that over the years, the district, it sometimes has awarded very few nominees and it sometimes has awarded quite a selection. I think one year we did actually honor every member of our congressional delegation. So in my opinion, it's been per year, case by case, but recognizing different things that folks have done. And so this list from 2024, I think is important and I think it is worthwhile and, it's at our discretion. So I definitely support this. And our staff worked well to put this together, let alone we had added folks to this list from the committee we thought should be honored. So I support it.
okay, any other comments?
Mr. Chair, I
Yes,
I
Director
recognize.
Gray.
Thank you. I recognize your point in terms of it kind of dilutes the fact of Legislator of the Year, but we have acknowledged others, and I think it's good to do that. So with that in mind, I think we can move forward with the vote. So thank you.
Okay, and Director Gill, is there anything you would like to add?
No.
I'm gonna support this, but I again think that we take a little bit away from these kinds of awards when we spread them out as much as we're doing. And if I was a recipient, I would appreciate the award more knowing that I was the recipient as opposed to One is multiple. But that's my comment. So, Mr. General Manager, can we have a vote?
Director Scott Houston. Director Don Deere.
Yes.
Director Gloria Gray.
Yes.
President Desi Alvarez.
Yes. Okay, that brings us to the next item, which is the annual board reorganization. And, on this item, is for our bylaws, every year we, look at the, composition of the board and the, board offices and decide on taking movement. There has been a history and practice on this board of, having people move through the chairs. And I think that's very, meaningful and, a practice that, has served this district well, continue. I had the privilege of being, nominated and elected to be president, last year. And as the newest board member, take the, opportunity to serve as president for this past year. But I look forward to, passing the gavel on to someone else. And, consistent with the practices of the past, I would like to move that, we make the following appointments for this coming year: for president, Director Gray; for vice president, Director Deere; for treasurer, Director Houston; and then for secretary, myself. So with that,
I'll second that motion.
I have a first and a second. Does anybody want to make any comment?
I just want to say that this rotation of the offices was my idea. When we first did it several years ago, and as you said, it's done us well. It's worked well for us.
I think it served this district very, very well, so.
It beats backbiting and fighting for
That though
state.
was your idea.
I'll make a comment. I do also think it serves the district well, and I support the motion. And I also want to thank Director Alvarez before we vote. For your leadership and service as our president over the course of this past year. I think it's a great privilege for each of us to have the opportunity to lead. There's no doubt, but also it's a lot of extra work for the president. And you probably don't realize that until you're in that role. He or she definitely does the majority of the behind the scenes work with our general manager and probably a lot of the key staff. So thank you, Director Alvarez, for your year of service. I look forward to the next year working with our new president after this vote. So thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments, Director Gray?
Yes, thank you, Director. President Alvarez, I want to echo my appreciation for you being the president. It's not easy leading a board or any group, and I think you've done a great job, and I appreciate your commitment to that role. If I am selected as the president for the coming year, this year, I'm committed to serving and doing the best I can, and I think all of you know my commitment to the district and anything that I do agree to do. So with that, I appreciate the nomination.
Great. Well, thank you, and thank you for your kind words. I said I was been very honored to serve as president, but I am looking forward to moving on. So with that, can we have a vote, Mr. General Manager?
Director Scott Houston.
Yes.
Director Don Deere.
Yes.
Director Gloria Gray.
Yes.
And President Desi Alvarez.
So before we conclude this item, there are one other thing that needs to be done, and that's the appointment of the officers for the deputy treasurer and deputy secretary.
Did you vote?
Did you vote?
Oh,
Please call a roll call.
I didn't. That we just did, I'm sorry. I'm
You didn't say
thinking about
anything.
Two other things right now. I'm preoccupied today.
President Alvarez.
Yes. Okay, so with that, let's conclude this item. And that's the, appointment of the officers, the deputy treasurer, the deputy secretary. This past year, the deputy secretary was Desiree Quintero. Probably that should be the, same for this year. Now, our deputy treasurer was Wendy Nakamura, who has since retired. So who is our new chief financial officer?
So President Alvarez, as you know, we have concluded the recruitment and we are now in the process of doing background checks. An offer has been made. My expectation is that we'll have a new CFO that'll join us on February 10th, which is a Monday. So my recommendation would be that we include the chief financial officer. But if you'd prefer to not do that because she has not yet joined our staff, we could do this again in February.
Okay, I think that's probably a good idea. The rest of the board would be, or
Good idea.
that, we leave the deputy treasurer to be brought back when we have an actual, chief financial officer that's appointed and accepted the position.
I would agree with that. Yes, we wait on that.
So with that, we'll have a vote then on appointing, or reappointing Desiree Quintero as the deputy secretary.
So I'll second. If that was a motion, I'll second.
That's a motion.
Director Scott Houston,
Yes.
Director Don Deere,
Yes,
Director Gloria Gray,
Yes,
and President Desi Alvarez.
So with that, Director Gray, now President Gray, would you like to, take over the meeting?
I will thank you, past president. Thank you very much. And thank you, board, for the honor of serving. I believe the next item is, item 9.
That's correct, Madam President. Item 9 is our information calendar. Because we held all of our committees this month, we do not have any items on our information calendar.
We will go to item 10, receive and file. Is there any board member that would like to hear presentations on any of the items?
No, I'll go ahead and move that we receive and file, Madam President.
One second.
Thank you. All right, next item, general manager's activity report.
did we vote, Madam President?
I didn't hear you.
Madam President, did we have a motion and a second? Should we vote on it?
Oh,
On the
I'm
receive and
sorry.
file.
Thank you very much. Yes, we received and filed. I guess we do need to vote on it. Is there a motion? We had a motion. Is there a second on the motion?
I did.
Okay, can you call the roll, please?
Happy to do so. Director Desi Alvarez,
Yes.
Director Scott Houston,
Yes.
Director Don Deere,
Yes,
and President Gloria Gray.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. General Manager. Then we'll go to the next item, General Manager's report.
Yes, thank you very much, Madam President. We have actually distributed the general manager's report for the month of January. You should all have it in your electronic inboxes. And we've also handed out additional hard copies for those that are in attendance. In addition to those items, I did want to highlight a couple of things. First and foremost, we continue within the West Basin service area to work towards extinguishing the Palisade fire. It's important to note that the rains yesterday obviously helped, but of course, good news with rain sometimes can cause additional bad news. So there are risks of mudslides within the West Basin service area. I do want to give my heartfelt thoughts and wishes to all of our colleagues in the water industry, most notably our friends at LEDWP, Metropolitan Water District, Las Virgenes, Municipal Water District, and LA County Waterworks 29. West Basin staff has been working tirelessly with all of those partners to make sure that information gets out to our communities as soon as possible, but also to offer assistance in any way possible. Secondly, I did want to make note that we have been working in a coordinated effort throughout our service area to collect donated items in our service area. There's been 4 drop-off spots in the South Bay, including Redondo Beach, Hermosa Beach, Manhattan Beach, and the city of El Segundo. West Basin's Eversea Little Water Recycling Facility has been the drop-off location in the city of El Segundo. And I did want to say a very special thank you to Nina Tarnay, who led this effort. Most of everybody here should know Nina from her service with the West Basin Water Association. But of course, she is a sitting councilwoman for the city of Manhattan Beach. We have extended our acceptance of donations for this week. And I know that social media has gone out over the weekend, and so we hope to continue to get things that could help those impacted by the fires. Next, I also wanted to note that this past weekend, just before the rain, we did have an excellent opportunity to work with our community to do something about that. I want to say thank you very much to Gus Meza. We held our last, although one was postponed, so we'll go back to that one as far as Malibu. But we did distribute 300 rain barrels up on the Palos Verdes Peninsula over the weekend. Again, hopefully they got those installed on Saturday so that they could begin collecting that rain on Sunday. I wanted to highlight that we do have a new employee with us today. I don't know if she's joined us online, but Shanika Morris has joined West Basin's team and will serve in the role of contractors administrative supervisor. So we're happy to have her leadership. She has a great deal of experience and has already begun the process of helping us out. And then last but not least, I just touched on this when we discussed the deputy secretary, but West Basin has concluded its search for a chief financial officer. An offer has been made to that individual, and we are now doing background checks. If all goes well, as I believe they will, we will have a new chief financial officer joining us on February 8th. So with that, President Gray, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you for your report. Any comments or questions of the general manager? Vice President Deere,
No, thank you.
Director Houston,
No, thank you.
Director Alvarez.
None. Thank you.
General Manager, thank you for the report, and please thank the staff for their involvement in helping to support the victims of the fire, and thank you for your report. And so the next item is General Counsel's report. General Counsel, please.
Thank you, Madam President. I have nothing to report other than what will be discussed in closed session.
All right, then the next item would be item 13, AB 1234 reporting. Anyone to report?
Madam President, Director Houston, I'll submit mine in writing to the staff.
Director Deere, the
Thank
same
you.
thing.
Thank you very much. Item 14, closed session. So we will adjourn to closed session.
Yeah, for the 3 items that are stated on the agenda, anticipated litigation, 2 matters, initiation of litigation, 1 matter, and the item listed as number 3.
All right, thank you. We will go into closed session. Thank you. Desiree, let me know when members are out, please.
Will do.
Are board members out yet, Desiree? Hello?
They are, we're just, oh, now EJ's red, we're ready.
All right, thank you. We've reconvened to open session, and so the next item is item 15, director's comments and future agenda items. Vice President Deere, comment.
Madam President, have you had any experience being the chairman of a meeting? Madam
I didn't
President,
hear you.
have you had any experience being the chairman? Stuff?
I
I'm
still
just
didn't hear
teasing
what
you.
Oh,
I was teasing
do.
you. I want to congratulate you on another successful election.
thanks a lot, Don. Well, congratulations to you too. I love working with you.
That's right, I'm the vice
Okay,
president now. Oh,
that's right.
I jumped, skip something, skip treasurer.
Past President Alvarez, any comment?
I have none.
Director Houston, are you secretary or treasurer? Secretary?
You know what? I'm treasurer.
Treasurer.
Yes.
Well, Mr. Treasurer, comment?
Well, I want to say thank you and I'm glad to be the treasurer. That is fine. And I also love chairing the effort. But congratulations, Madam President. Looking forward to your leadership. And the other thing, well, a couple thoughts really quickly. I want to say thank you to the staff. There was a lot of things happening this month. I really appreciate that. Apparently, we had a great rain barrel distribution that happened up on the Palos Verdes Peninsula this past weekend. And also with the fires and everything going on, I can just assure you all that EJ and the team have been keeping all of us informed, but especially me, of course. Since Topanga and Malibu are part of my area, and we're working hard to do everything we can for those residents and folks. And then last but not least, and I think some of you might have heard this or not, but it is what it is about the political season we're in. And before I even drove over here, I guess our United States president signed some sort of executive order really attacking California when it comes to water and water management. And a lot of things are probably not 100% accurate, but it is what we will all deal with. And I think we have to do our best to articulate, what is actually happening and how the water supply and systems work across the state and of course, locally, regionally. The fires did open up a huge opportunity for us to understand and articulate that to the residents and constituents, how these systems are designed to work. And lastly, we of course will look at things, in the post wildfires situation to see where we could all improve. But there are a lot of things that are beyond some of our control, and these systems are pretty well designed, depending on what comes at them. So anyway, just want to thank everybody who's been working on these issues, and I know that staff will us know more about this executive order that came down from President of the United States. So thank you, Madam President, for allowing me to speak. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I want to reiterate all the comments that were made. Thank you to staff for all your reports this morning or this afternoon.
Madam President?
Yes.
Madam President, Before you adjourn, I did want to give legal counsel the opportunity to report out from closed session.
Oh, thank
there
you
was
very
no-
much.
Yeah, just
thank
reporting
you so
publicly
much.
that there's no action taken during closed session that's reportable pursuant to the Brown Act. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Joe. Thank you so much, General Counsel. With that, any other comments or statements,
We
actions?
still have to do this other meeting real quick, right? Okay.
We have, no,
Meeting?
we have one more meeting now.
Okay, so we'll adjourn this meeting and then we're gonna convene another meeting. So this meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much, board members. And I'll stay on the line for the next meeting.
Yes, just give me 1 second.
Thank you.